Let's do the questions for the wolf in sheep's clothing from page 114. The questions are on page 116 and 117. First, I'm going to read all the questions 1 through 4, and then I would like you to pause the video, do your best to answer all of them, and then when you're ready for me to go over the answers, you can press play. Number 1. Read this sentence from the story. Every time he saw the wolf, he chased him back into the forest. Why is this event important to the beginning of the story? A. It tells why the wolf can't get near the sheep. B. It tells why the sheep are not afraid of the wolf. C. It tells why the wolf wanted to eat the sheep. D. It tells why the shepherd forgot the fleece. Number 2. This question has 2 parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. How did the wolf fool the shepherd? A. He made a noise like a sheep. B. He hid in the forest. C. He waited until the shepherd left. D. He wore the fleece of a sheep. Part B. Write the sentence from the text that explains why the wolf's trick worked. Remember, Part A and Part B questions mean that Part B will often support or kind of prove why your answer in Part A is right. So keep that in mind. Number 3. Look at this chart. It tells the order of some of the events in the story. Part 1. The wolf puts on a sheep's fluffy white fleece. Part 2. Blank. Part 3. The wolf carries off a sheep for his dinner. Which sentence belongs in the empty box? A. The shepherd chases the wolf into the forest. B. The wolf walks into the herd of sheep. C. The shepherd notices the wolf. D. The shepherd cooks a delicious stew. Number 4. Which choice best shows what strolled means in the following sentence? The next day, the wolf wore the fleece again and strolled freely among the sheep. A. He ran through the herd of sheep. B. He walked slowly among the sheep. C. He stayed away from the sheep. D. He chased the sheep in the meadow. Now go ahead and pause your video, and when you're ready for me to go over the answers, press play. Going back to number 1, it says read this sentence from the story. Every time he saw the wolf, he chased him back into the forest. Why is this event important to the beginning of the story? Each answer, if you notice, it starts with it tells why. We can kind of think of this as if we took away it tells from each one, they all start with why, and it's like they're all a question. So, if we can turn all of these into questions, this would be like the answer. So let's read each answer choice. It tells why the wolf can't get near the sheep. If we turn that into a question, it would be, why can the wolf not get near the sheep? And does this answer that? He chased him into the forest. B says, it tells why the sheep are not afraid of the wolf. So if we switch that into a question, it would be, why are the sheep not afraid of the wolf? Every time he saw the wolf, he chased him back into the forest. C, it tells why the wolf wanted to eat the sheep. Again, if we switch this into a question, why did the wolf want to eat the sheep? And again, does that sentence answer that? D, it tells why the shepherd forgot the fleece. Switching that into a question would be, why did the shepherd forget the fleece? And does that sentence answer that? Let's see. Again, every time he saw the wolf, he chased him back into the forest. The he that we see, they're talking about the shepherd, right? Because the other characters in the story are the sheep. But they're talking about the man who is the shepherd. And if we know that the wolf is being chased out, what does that tell us? It tells us why the wolf can't get near the sheep, right? Because if someone asked you, why can't the wolf get near the sheep? You would tell them, because every time he, the shepherd, saw the wolf, he chased him back into the forest. So for this one, the answer is A. Number 2. Remember, this one has 2 parts, and each part go with each other. Part B will support your answer in Part A. Part A says, how did the wolf fool the shepherd? A, he made a noise like a sheep. Do we remember any part in the story where the wolf sounds like a sheep? I don't remember any part like that, so I don't think it can be A. B, he hid in the forest. No, because the big part of the wolf fooling the shepherd was that he looked like a sheep. So hiding in the forest wouldn't be looking like a sheep. So I don't think it's B either. C, he waited until the shepherd left. No, because remember, he's able to fool the shepherd. So that means the shepherd sees him and is being tricked. So it can't be C either. D, he wore the fleece of a sheep. That part I do remember. Because he wears the fleece of a sheep, the shepherd thinks the wolf is a sheep. So for Part A, the answer is D. For Part B, this is where we need to prove it. So Part B says, write the sentence from the text that explains why the wolf's trick worked. Let's go back to the story. Remember, you can always go back to the text. I think we should look at paragraph 3. In paragraph 3, it says, with a tug and a pull, the wolf dressed himself in the fleece. Now he looked just like a sheep. That's a big clue, I think. It's saying now he looked just like a sheep, but we can keep reading and there'll be more support for our answer. In paragraph 4, it says, the wolf trotted into the meadow wearing the fleece. He walked among the sheep. And this time, the shepherd didn't chase him away. That's a big clue to know that the shepherd was not fooled by him. I'm sorry, that he was fooled by him. My bad. Because he didn't chase him away, because he didn't realize it was the wolf. So, I think some important sentences that we can get from the text to support our answer is 1, we know that the wolf looked just like a sheep. And then also, the shepherd didn't chase him away. So we know the trick worked. Number 3, it says look at the chart. It tells the order of some of the events in the story. So the first event is the wolf puts on a sheep's fluffy white fleece. So let's try to think back to the story. Okay, so the wolf puts on the fleece. Now we have to think what happens next. But a little clue that our question gives us is that the third event is that the wolf is able to carry off a sheep to have for dinner. So something happens after he puts on the fleece, but before he takes a sheep for dinner. Let's see if we can figure out what event happens. A, the shepherd chases the wolf into the forest. Well, let's see. If the wolf is wearing fleece, and then the shepherd chases the wolf into the forest, is the wolf able to carry off a sheep for his dinner? No, because that means he was chased away. And we know that's not how it happened in the story. Because after he puts on the fleece, the shepherd doesn't recognize him. So we know he doesn't chase him. B, the wolf walks into the herd of sheep. This one could be the right answer, because we know when he puts on the fleece, he's able to blend in with the rest of the sheep. So maybe it's B, but let's keep going just in case. C, the shepherd notices the wolf. Remember from what we just read from question 2, the shepherd did not notice the wolf because he looked like a sheep. So that means it can't be C. D, the shepherd cooks a delicious stew. That's the last thing that happens in the story. So it can't be D. That means the answer must be B. The wolf walks into the herd of sheep. To make sure we can verify it is the right answer, let's read all all the events in order to see if it makes sense. First, the wolf puts on a sheep's fluffy white fleece. Next, the wolf walks into the herd of sheep. Lastly, the wolf carries off a sheep for his dinner. I think that makes sense, so the answer is B. Last question, number 4. Which choice best shows what strolled means in the following sentence? The next day the wolf wore the fleece again and strolled freely among the sheep. So if you're not familiar with the word strolled, we need to think about the context. Remember, the wolf is wearing the fleece and he knows that he blends in. So that means he's able to join the sheep without any problem, okay? So choice A says he ran through the herd of sheep. I feel like if you know you're not supposed to be where you are, you run, right? Because you don't want someone to see you too closely or catch you. So I don't think he would be running. Maybe if he still looked like a wolf, he would be running. So I don't think it's A. B, he walked slowly among the sheep. I think that could be it, right? Because strolled freely among the sheep. I see some key words right there. I see among the sheep, which is the same wording we see in the sentence. And I feel like if you blend in, you're able to be cool and calm and you're just walking with the rest of the sheep. So maybe it's B. Well, let's keep going. C, he stayed away from the sheep. And we all know when he wore the fleece, the point wasn't to be away from the sheep. He wanted to be with them. So it can't be C. And D, he chased the sheep in the meadow. Now that is a detail that did not happen in the story. He did not chase the sheep. Therefore, the answer is B. He walked slowly among the sheep.